What's going on, Linchpin? It is Tuesday? It is Tuesday, yes. It's July 5th, 2022. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start. We've got a topic today that I didn't come up with. I really like it, though. I wish that I had come up with it because I think it's going to have a lot of utility and value for a lot of people. This is a topic, an idea, a concept, if you will, that I read, I think last week in the private Facebook group for the Linchpin private track. And I wish I could remember the name of the individual that wrote it so I could give them credit. But again, I want to be very vocal that's not my idea. And other people may have thought of it beforehand, but this person posted it and I was like, I like that. I'd like to share it with other people. Okay, that's enough of a preamble. Long story short, as we've covered many times before, comparison is a double-edged sword. Data is useful. We realize that. Times, loadings, useful. You can look at social media and compare yourself to whoever you want. It's a double-edged sword. If comparison helps inspire you and motivate you in a positive manner, great. You have my unwavering support. But the other side of that coin is, depending upon who you're comparing yourself to or your individual personality, right? Comparison, of course, is otherwise known as the thief of joy. And if the comparison usually leads you into some negative mind space, never feeling good enough, always falling short, well, that's the dark side of comparison as well. So it's not all good, it's not all bad. It's a tool, and used properly can have some good benefits. So what this person's idea was, because I think that comparison wasn't doing them any favors, and not just comparison in an external sense to others out there, but also comparing themselves as they stand today to where they have been previously in their life. And if maybe they're falling short of their old Helen time, their old rounds of Cindy, what used to be a 1-rep max deadlift hasn't happened in a while. This was eating away at that individual, and they implemented a process that I liked a lot. I think this person, I believe, was in their late 40s or early 50s. And basically what they said was they're going to keep this mindset simple, and every time that they are in a new phase of life, a new stage of life, or a new age bracket in life, that they were going to just almost reset the PR clock. And everything from that moment forward was clean slate, fresh start, because this may be, an oversimplification, but if you've been training your entire life, okay, from high school, college, your whole life, it's unlikely that you will have a better deadlift at 70 years old than you did at 35 years old, right? So at some point in time in everyone's training regime, the creep starts to go in the other direction. And so now this person was like, how do I battle that so that I still am motivated, I'm still enthusiastic, I still enjoy training, I still want to walk out into the garage? And basically what they said is, if you take it like the age divisions that CrossFit generally implements, you could use whatever categories you wanted. This is just what they were using. But they said, look, every time I enter a new age division, fresh start. The old deadlift doesn't matter, the old Helen time doesn't matter. So in the classic like CrossFit games and whatnot divisions, it would be you're 34 years old and below. That's an entire segment. You're 35 to 39, so when you enter that, fresh start. You do whatever you can do. The next division, 40 years old to 44 years old. Fresh start. Nothing before that matters anymore, for this person anyway. Then it was 45 to 49, 50 to 54 years old, 55 to 59, and then 60 plus. There may even be a new division these days, but that's how it used to be. Like I said, pick any divisions that you want, but that's what this person was going with. And you could say it's one of two things, right? You could say the positive side is that it's very freeing, it's very liberating, keeps everything fun and new, and the gains keep coming. I guess you could say, in being fair, well, is it limiting? Because maybe, what if you are more competent and you have more potential in your late 40s than you did in your late 30s? Are there people that fall into that category? There certainly are, for sure. But I would have to say, for most people, under most circumstances, most of the time, that this person's mindset about every time I enter a new age division, clean slate, I think it would treat far more people well than it would treat them poorly. Hey, and if you happen to beat a previous age division record, extra celebration that day. Fantastic. But again, I like this a lot. And you could take it, I think, in other divisions as well, or other areas of life, to keep things fun and motivated and enthusiastic, and again, not letting comparison be the thief of joy, that don't have anything to do with a particular age division. For new parents, for moms out there, pre-baby versus post-baby. I see a lot of women categorize PRs and lifts and times in that area, before kids and after kids. And maybe, this may fire up my wife if she heard me say this, maybe we could include the dads in there as well. Even though they didn't play as a significant of a role or have the traumatic experience and hardships that the mom did, maybe for the last year or two they've had significantly reduced sleep, highly disrupted schedule, things of that nature, commitments through the roof, and you would have to think that would in one way, shape, or form affect training. So whatever you're going through in life, there's a way to frame it to keep what you're doing in the gym cool, fired up, fun, and keep it in perspective. You could also say, if you've, had a training accident or a car accident or something that resulted in you being down for a while, knee surgery, back surgery, shoulder surgery, whatever it happened to be, you could also put in, let's say you had a knee surgery, pre-knee surgery PRs and lifts, post-knee surgery PRs and lifts, and everything post that surgery, for example, it's a new PR, it's a new everything. You're rebuilding yourself as an organism, and that would ideally, you know what you used to do in the past, you're always going to have that in your mind, and ideally you can draw some motivation and strength from that, but it might be unfair to judge yourself on something like that since you're in such a new chapter of your life in kind of uncharted waters. Did you take an extended period off for school, training, work, whatever it happened to be? Were you working out for 5 or 10 years pretty dedicated, and then you stopped working out for 2 or 3 years, gained a bunch of bad weight, lost a bunch of capacity, and now you're trying to get back into fitness? Looking back at what the old you used to do, maybe that would motivate you, or maybe that would depress you. It depends upon the person you are. But if you are now trying to lose all this weight and get back into fitness, I would consider, hey, new chapter, fresh start. Everything's a brand new PR. Things start today, and it's going to be good to go. So personally, I feel like, some version of this mindset and long-term perspective would greatly help most people maintain a positive attitude and enthusiasm for training for years and years. And that enthusiasm for training, I see somebody right here says, post-knee surgery here. This hits home, coach. Good, great. Again, you can't take credit for it, just ideally using this platform to pass on as many good ideas that cross my path as possible to help everybody else get on a good track. But yes, for sure, post-knee surgery, things are going to look a bit different. I had a severe AC joint separation of my shoulder after a motorcycle wreck many years ago. My shoulder has never, ever, ever been the same since then. Things are just different. That's okay. And also remember the whole training versus testing, right? We did a podcast on this a while ago if you want to go back and search Linchpin Conversations or training versus testing. But it's really easy for some CrossFitters who, and I was guilty of this for a long time, always are trying to beat their old time, always trying to beat their old lift. That's like a testing mindset that you're going in and it's just game day, it's go time, it's maximal effort. That's not a sustainable game. Most of us can't do that for an extended period of time, and you will eventually run into a brick wall. that most of the time, truth be told, when you go into the gym to do a 5x5 back squat, to do DT, to do a 6x400 meter repeat, I know some people actually do sprint, to do Cindy, to do whatever it happens to be, most of those days should be approached with a training mindset, not a testing mindset. I'm pulling a 7x1 deadlift today, not because I have to set a lifetime PR. I'm doing a 7x1 deadlift today because logically, when I look back to what I've done the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last 3 weeks, it makes perfect sense to pull heavy from the ground today for some singles. That's why we're doing it, and heavy can be a relative thing. So whatever is heavy today, that's what I'll pull for a 7x1 deadlift. If it's a PR, cool. If it's not a PR, doesn't matter. What matters is I did the proper thing for my body today based upon what I needed to do. That's the training mindset versus a testing mindset. And you do those training days, and every now and then when you feel froggy and you feel like testing something, you're probably going to feel both physically and mentally ready to give everything you have for that workout, because you haven't just unnecessarily beat the stuffing out of yourself every single day thinking that CrossFit means maximal effort every day, because that's not simply the case. So I think the training versus testing mindset is very beneficial, and this framing where you are in your life and setting, hey, I'm in a new age group, everything's new. Hey, I had a back surgery, I had a bad shoulder, I had a whatever, everything's new. Had a baby, everything's new. All of those things, they're not mental tricks. I would rather say that they are just intelligent and useful and positive ways to frame your thinking, so that when we continue speaking for the next 5 or 10 years, you're still working out, because you were able to do things which were beneficial to your body, and you were able to control your mind and emotions in a way that allowed you to keep walking into the gym using comparison as something positive and not as something negative. And that's kind of it. So I really liked that. I may actually quite, adopt that. I think it's fantastic. Hope everybody benefits from that in some way, shape, or form. And what is today for workout? It's escaping me at the moment. Oh, I know what it is. It's a burner. I believe it's 95 pounds for the gentlemen, 65 pounds for the women, 21-15-9 push press, calories on the old air bike, different calories for women. Is it a 3-minute rest or a 5-minute rest? I want to say maybe it's a 3-minute rest. And then same deal, but 15, 12, 9. And I see a post from JJ here. Having gone through multiple surgeries in the past years, this rings true. Thanks, Coach. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you continue to live for decades on this planet, life has a way to beat you up every now and then, to ding you up a little bit. And that just happens. And so doing what you got to do to keep getting yourself in the gym, not just for days or weeks, but for months and years, that's our focus. I mean, long-term health and fitness is what we're all about here at Linchpin, trying to make intelligent decisions. We don't want anyone just to burn out and unnecessarily beat their head against a wall, which I did for far too many years of my life in CrossFit until I got on a better path. So hopefully we get everybody on a better path sooner rather than later, and we reap the benefits. So have a wonderful day. Enjoy that burner today, and we will talk later.